You're listening to The Bridge here on LJTV, bridging the gap between the working week and the wonders of the weekend. Thank you.
Your alternative news for Friday the 20th of September. News that there may be a remake of the classic film The Princess Bride has infuriated its many thousands of fans. People have reacted angrily to the idea and the gifs have been flying. The dread pirate Roberts himself said from his home in Patagonia that there are a shortage of perfect movies in this world. It would be a pity to damage this one. He should know since he was one of the stars of the film. We hope the studios listen to the fans. The weather will be mainly umbrella-free for a while, but the rain will return to many parts before I've even finished reading this. We suggest you stay in for a little while and listen to the cracking tunes on LJTV.
You're listening to The Bridge here on LJTV, bridging the gap between the working week and the wonders of the weekend. Thank you.
Hello and welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to episode 21 of The Bridge. I'm your host LJ and I'll be with you all the way up until 8 o'clock-ish. Somewhere within the hour of 8 o'clock is the finishing line. Sometimes it makes it all the way to 9 o'clock. But thank you very much for joining me on this fantastical Friday. Have we got some fantastic wonders in store for you? Yes, we do. At least that's just what I'm saying, so you'll have to stick around to find out more. We return to the album in focus, which is Talking Heads 77. It is from the year of 1977, probably given away by its title, but it's the debut album from Talking Heads, also probably given away by its title, but we'll be telling you more about that album and hearing another song from it. We also have some brand new music to be sharing with you. We look to the cinema for a release for this week, so our Cinema Scope highlight for this week, just the one movie to talk to you about and also enjoy the trailer. We've got some great music in store for you, some upbeat, up-tempo stuff to encourage you to take on whatever challenges the weekend's going to throw at you, whether they're self-inflicted or thrust upon ye. So, welcome to today's show. Thank you for all the hosts. I do have a problem with my counters over in the bottom corner, so I may be switching those off in a little while, but they don't seem to be updating correctly. So, until I can figure out how to sort that out, I won't be worrying too much about that. I do seem to also have a little bit of a sound problem, so I'll maybe tweaking the sound during today's show. So, these are some of the things you can expect, and some of the things that I didn't expect myself too. So, we've got the start off. We've had the instrumental there in the background from Steely Dan, but we've got to start off by showing you the magazine cover so you know what's going on. You still have the opportunity to vote in this week's FightCon. That is still available. FightCon this week is all about paperback or hardback. Which do you prefer? Which do you prefer as a gift, or which do you prefer to receive? You can decide. Hello and welcome, Headshot. Thank you very much for the host. Most appreciated. So you can still vote in the FightCon battle for your heart. So these icons are battling figuratively, and in this case, it's literature. So it's literally as well. So anyway, it's hardback or paperback. Which do you prefer? You can still vote on that, and we'll have a new one to announce as well as the winner for this battle that was started from last week. We're going to start off this show with a song from The Cure, and here is Caterpillar.
Caterpillar girl.
Turn the microphone on before you start talking. That's always a good step forward. Thank you very much for joining me for episode 21 of The Bridge here on LJTV. Bless your cotton socks for joining me. And also thank you very much for the host. I saw Streamers Inc. turn up there with the host later than usual, but thank you very much for turning up all the same. As I'm in control of Streamers Inc. anyway, so it's a little bit of a back-seater from me. That's the monitor I use. The monitor I used is named Streamers Inc. Why not? Anyway, what are we up to? I've got some brand new music coming up very shortly, but there's brand new music from this week of Many Moons Ago as our very next song. We'll have a cinema scope for you, so I'll be pointing out what's brand new in this week's cinema, and also not just asking you to take my word for it if you're looking for something to go to the cinema, but to see. But I'll also be showing you the trailer, so you can judge it upon yourself. There is, of course, the Video Nasty for this week. They are called Video Nasties, as some weeks they will be highlighted because of how nasty they are. Sometimes they'll be highlighted for how wonderful they are, but they're still called Video Nasties all the same. So we'll have a Video Nasty, which is basically an MTV classic. So we'll be playing something that either the music doesn't quite sit with the visuals. Sometimes that's the case. I think in this case it very much is. But anyway, we'll get around to that later on in today's show. We've got brand new music to be sharing with you, all sorts along the way. And this is the Laid Back Friday show. So we're going to be taking it nice and easy. We will be returning to Talking Heads 77 Cascade. That's what I say. So we're going to move back to the charts of yesteryear, and that is for Edwin Starr, who was brand new into this week's chart of 1969. He was beating David Bowie in the charts. David Bowie was in at number 39 with Space Oddity, but we heard that on Wednesday's show. So we moved to 36 for Edwin Starr. I suppose there's a connection there because it's all in the stars. Here is 25 Miles.
Come on, feet. Start moving. Got to get me there. Oh. Hey, hey. Oh. Yeah. Oh. 25 miles from home, girl. My feet are hurting mighty bad. Now I've been walking for 3 days and 2 lonely nights. You know that I'm mighty mad. But I got a woman waiting for me that's gonna make this trip worth a while. You see, she's got the kind of loving and a kissing make a man go stone wild. So I got to keep on walking. I got to walk on. I'm so tired, but I just can't lose my stride. I got 15 miles to go now, and I can hear my baby calling my name. It's as if as though I'm standing at a front door. I can
5 Miles from Edwin Starr. It was brand new into this week's chart of 1969. For him, in at number 36, that would be its peak position. It would not climb any higher than that, although it has been covered by many an artist along the way. The Jackson 5, none more famous than that, I suppose, would be the best way to say it, for now anyway. Alright, so we're going to move to some brand new music for you up next, and this is London artist, I think I'm right in saying so. I need to check that before I post this actually. But London artist Michael Kinawaku is, I think, how I'm going to say his name this time around. But those who are regular viewers of today's show will know that I do struggle with words and spellings and stuff and pronunciations, whichever way you'd rather say me to say it. But we have brand new music from Michael Kinawaku. I told you I'd say it different ways, many different times. Here is a picture. Maybe you can recognise him by his face, but if you can't do that, then maybe you'll recognise him by his brand new music. This is such a positive and uplifting song that I had to share this with you as soon as I possibly could. So I do wait a little while after the brand new music has come out, so that I can judge it and live with it for a little while before I pass it on. So that I've given it good judgment, at least. That's what I hope for anyway. The name of this song is You Ain't the Problem. So, a wonderful, positive, uplifting song. Brand new music here on The Bridge. Episode 21. They're flying by, aren't they?
What makes you blind? I hope to find who I believe in. Get back in line, I can't deny myself. Show me the feeling. Oh, you got me wrong if you don't belong. Live in the trouble, don't hesitate. Time heals the pain. You ain't the problem. I live the lie, love is the climb. It's you I believe in. No need to blame myself, no need to die. I'm only human. I'm done, you got to put me on. I know if you come along, don't hesitate. Time heals the pain. You ain't the problem. That you for fun, you are the problem. I try to help myself, you are the one, do all the talking. You got me wrong, I caught you falling, I hear you calling. Don't hesitate. Time heals the pain. You ain't the problem. I live the dream, I hope to be who I believe in. I used to hate myself, you got the key, break out the prison. Oh, I hope to never see time passing. Don't hesitate. Time heals the pain. You ain't the problem.
So, from London, it is Michael Kinowaki, something along those lines. I don't know. I do try to pronounce the names at least the same way I did last time, but I know I'm messing it up usually. It's not out of malice; it's out of dyslexia. So I do apologise for that. But I mean, much respect, which is one of the reasons why I want to share this brand new music with you. You want to find out more about this artist? Then make your way to the Twitter feed. There is more information to be had there. That is at LJAY_TV. I'll be posting about the show as the show goes. I'll also be posting on Instagram as well, where you can find a link to the Instagram and the Facebook pages beneath. But that will be posthumously. I say it in that way because that will be when the show is dead and gone. Because I don't have enough arms or enough brain power to be doing all of it at the same time, or have figured out how to link them either. Anyway, I'm sure there is a clever and smart way to do that. We're going to move on to Roxy Music, as there is a direct connection to Roxy Music and the band behind the album and Focus via Brian Eno, who was a member of Roxy Music, but was also a producer for Talking Heads, 4 of the Talking Heads albums. So anyway, now that we've made that connection for you, here is Out of the Blue. I do need to change the music for a second, though. As I just remembered, I know what the problem is. So there may be a little bit of a buzz, but it's not my intention. I had cross-wired what I would normally plug in. So, unfortunately, it was a stupid mistake, but a simple mistake to make. And now I have rectified it. So hopefully everything should be sounding that much better for you, so you can enjoy today's show with less hiccups. Fingers crossed that was today's deliberate mistake. Just I wasn't aware of it. Out of the blue it was. And here is Roxy Music with theirs.
Now they seem oh so far away. All your fears I fear I once shared. Now I know there's a future for all of us. Not so long ago I was so scared. Sad, I could see through your twisted smile. So unsure, always confused. Pale blue eyes gazing down from your ivory tower. Through the haze, all broken and bruised.
turn it down a bit more. We're currently listening to Out of the Blue from Roxy Music. It's an excellent track, but we've got plenty more in store. We're going to be returning to the album focus very shortly. We've also got some news stories from yesteryear, so that is yesterday's chip paper. We've got you covered is a regular feature you'll find on a Friday show, so that will be turning up at some point, and I'll be announcing it, so don't worry, I will be underlining it. You should spot it. We've got you covered as well as Two for Friday is always on a Friday show, hence Friday is in the title of that one. So Two for Friday is two back-to-back songs that have some sort of logical link to them. If you don't spot it, don't worry, I will be underlining that too. But we're taking it nice and easy. It's a Friday show. We're just about gearing you up for whatever it is the weekend has in store. I certainly hope it is a wonderful one that you've got planned or unplanned. Back to the music. So we've got yesterday's chip paper to address, just some talking and walking music first. Sorry, I had to click along. I'll stop doing that now. And let's tell you about the stories that would have been big, important news stories of their day, but they're not anymore. They are old news. It is yesterday's chip paper. So we are taking a look. I have 4 news stories to tell you that should cover us for the entire show. So there's just one at a time. And we're going to start off with 49 years ago this week, September of 1970, was the very first Glastonbury Festival was held. The very first Glastonbury Festival was held. So it was a celebration, do anything you wanted to do situation in Glastonbury for the very first time, 1970. So celebrating its 49th anniversary. We're going to play a song that is connected to that. The reason it's connected to that is because I've just said you got to do anything you wanted to do. Here is Thin Lizzy. Do anything you want to do. Do anything you want to. Here is Thin Lizzy.
Will investigate you. They'll insinuate, intimidate, and complicate you. Don't ever wait or hesitate to state the fate that awaits those who try to shake or take you. Don't let them break you. You can do anything you want to do. It's not wrong what I say, it's true. You can do anything you want to do. Do what you want to. You will analyze and criticize you. They'll scandalize and tell lies until they realize you are somebody they should have apologized to. Don't let these people compromise you. Be wise to. You can do anything you want to do. It's not wrong what I say, it's true. You can do anything you want to do. Do what you want to. Hey, you're not their puppet on a string. You can do everything. It's true if you really want to. You can do anything you want.
retro advert break. Actually, this week it is a random retro advert break, so I've chosen from the old ones I've recorded, so who knows whether they're what ones they are, but we'll find out very shortly. And when we return from that, we'll be back to the album in focus. From Talking Heads, it's 77. We'll be telling you about the biggest single from that album.
You can do anything you want to do. It's not wrong what I say, it's true. You can do anything you want to do. Do what you want.
The Allied Carpets Now or Never sale lifts off Monday with prices that will never be repeated. 25 to 50% off after sale prices on a huge selection of carpets, like Axminsters, Wiltons, Twist Piles, Saxonies and Pure Wools. Plus many first-come, first-served specials at half roll price. It's looking good. Allied's Now or Never sale starts Monday, 9 a.m. sharp.
On the road ahead, the aerodynamic shape of the Austin Metro sips petrol and sticks to the road like cat's eyes. The shape feels bigger inside than out. The shape goes 12,000 miles without a service. Austin Metro, the shape for the road ahead.
The album in focus. It's only the mother-loving album in focus, son. The album in focus. It's only the mother-loving album in focus, son.
Is that fader I need to bring down? Changed my mind as I went to. Oh no, it's not that one. We get there in the end. So that may have been the perfect advert to have randomly chose, but then I'll pointing out now. But I haven't told you about the cinema release for this week. It is connected. It would seem perfectly connected to the cinema scope for this week. Stay tuned. I'll be telling you more about that and making it more complicated, no doubt. But let's move to the album in focus. I'm trying to tweet out as we return. So we've tweeted that out, and I can tell you all of the information I wanted to pass on. So let's move to the photographs, and then we're cooking, I think, sort of, trying to. Where are they? Album in focus, photographs. See, this is all part of the new stuff that I've been trying to do recently. So this fella here would have been an unknown architect if he'd stayed in Harvard, but he didn't. He decided to join the Modern Lovers. Then he also decided to join the rest of this rabble, and that would be Tina, Chris, and David in Talking Heads. They released their first album in 1977, and we've been talking about it all week long. It's our album in focus. It's an excellent album, and thank you very much for all of the sparks and for all of your involvement in today's show. It does mean the world to me, honestly. So David Byrne, who is the lead singer and one of the founding members of this band, along with Chris, in Talking Heads, they started off in a band called the Artistics. Then they moved and lived in a house share with Tina At the time, she was Chris's girlfriend. They then did eventually get married, but the three of them lived in a house share together. They did not have a bassist, which is why you can see Tina there playing the bass. They convinced her to end up learning how to play the bass. They weren't convinced still, as they still forced her. I believe that David was behind the request that she re-audition for the band 3 times. So she was also suggested to her that she listened to Suzi Quatro to learn how to play the bass. There is many interesting facts to tell you about this album, this band, the connection of Brian Eno we've already spoken about before. We were talking on Wednesday's show about the Tom Tom Club, and we also heard a song from the Modern Lovers. So we reached out to many different connections. We do not have an official link to the album in focus, but there is songs that have been inspired by it anyway, so there may be unofficial links to be had along the way. Let's move back to the biggest song from this album. It was not recorded or written with any inspiration of the Son of Sam in mind. So this is the Son of Sam Killers in 1977, I believe, was his capture. I may be incorrect there, but I am talking about the song more than the serial killer anyway. The song was written in 1975, so well before anything had hit the news about the Son of Sam. So this is just a sheer coincidence at the time that it was released. So it was recorded well beforehand and then eventually released around the time of the Son of Sam, and a lot of people see connections. It is Psycho Killer. It is the best known track on the album and probably their best known song. Not that they don't have some excellent work still to go for as well. So here is Psycho Killer. It's the next track off our album in focus. The album in focus is Talking Heads 77. Let's get on with it. I mean, could there be more iconic bass than that? I think we can start again. We talk about Tina having to re-audition 3 times. That's so iconic, that bass.
I can't seem to face up to the facts. I'm tense and nervous and I can't relax. I can't sleep cause my bed's on fire. Don't touch me, I'm a real live wire. Psycho killer, qu'est-ce que c'est? Fa 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 fa. Better run, 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 run away. Oh, psycho killer, qu'est-ce que c'est? Fa 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 fa. Better run, 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 run away. Oh, you start a conversation, you can't even finish it. You're talking a lot, but you're not saying anything. When I have nothing to say, my lips are sealed. Say something once, why say it again? Psycho killer, qu'est-ce que c'est? Fa 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 fa. Better run, 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 run away. Oh, oh, oh. Psycho killer, qu'est-ce que c'est? Fa 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 fa. Better run, 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 run away. Oh, oh, aïe, 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 aïe. Ce que j'ai fait ce soir-là, ce qu'elle a dit ce soir-là, réalisons mon espoir. Je me lance vers les bras, ok. Yeah, 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 yeah. We are vain and we are blind. I hate people when they're not polite. Psycho killer, qu'est-ce que c'est? Fa 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 fa
Better run, 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 run away. Oh, oh, oh. Psycho killer, qu'est-ce que c'est? Better run, 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 run away. Oh, oh, oh. Oh, I've got to say something about that. Thank you so much for the Space Unicorn. Excellent title for a brilliant sticker. Thank you very much, bruv. Most appreciated. So what we've got coming up next, we're going to be talking to you about some brand new music. We've also got a brand new movie for CinemaScope for this week. That'll be coming up after we've heard the next song, which has some sort of connection. It's going to link between the Space Unicorn and the movie for this week, which stars Brad Pitt, so you may already know which one it's going to be. So yes, it's all about space. I've given you lots of clues. Let's move on to our next song. Our next song is from the Flaming Lips, and it is Yoshimi versus the Pink Robots or something like that. I don't know. It's got a very long title. I can't get it all on my screen at the moment here. Thank you very much. Yes, it's just that good. It is just that good. That was just an amazing sticker there. I had to mention something about it. So yes, we move to the Flaming Lips, and then we've got a CinemaScope for you. And following that, it's some brand new music. Stay tuned for all of these things and some other stuff too. I always mess up the title of this one. No, I love playing it.
でも何も書いてない声を聞く夜は今のおじさんたちとメモを取ったやつを2人とも今から聞く
Her name is Yoshime. She's a black belt in karate, working for the city. She has to discipline her body, 'cause she knows that it's demanding to defeat those evil machines. I know she can beat them. Oh, Yoshime, they don't believe me, but you won't let those robots eat me. Yoshime, they don't believe me, but you won't let those robots defeat me. Those evil-natured robots, they're programmed to destroy us. She's gotta be strong to fight them, so she's taking lots of vitamins, 'cause she knows that it'd be tragic.
So this is Yoshimi battles the Pink Robots. I always just lose my confidence in the title. But anyway, that was Flaming Lips. It's still playing at the moment. I'll be turning it back up in a second. But we'll be getting around to Ad Astra. That is the CinemaScope for this week. That's why the picture is what the picture is doing over there. So we'll be telling you about that and also playing its trailer in just a moment. But there's also some brand new music coming up on today's show to follow that. So these are some great things. Stay tuned for. There is many features to be had in the second hour of the show. We've got you covered. 2 to Friday. Some of those things you can expect. But I wanted to point out before we go too far away from FightCons, try and get your vote in. It may be too late. You have to find out on the Twitter feed. It should be available on the chat as I posted it in there myself. But if you find your way over to my Twitter feed, you can vote on whether hardback or paperback is the way to go. Your choice. Your choice. We are pitching another one. We're pointing out another FightCons for this week, and that will be very shortly. We'll point it out and hopefully spark debate.
It'd be tragic if those evil robots win. Yeah, I know that she can beat them. Oh, Yoshime,
They don't believe me, but you won't let those robots defeat me, Yoshimi. They don't believe me, but you won't let those robots defeat me, Yoshimi. They don't believe me, but you won't let those robots eat me, Yoshimi. They don't believe me, but you won't let those robots eat me, Yoshimi.
So, Flaming Lips and Yoshimi battles the pink robots. Of course she does. Or he does, I don't know. Which gender do you think Yoshimi is? Or was you paying enough attention? Yes, Yoshimi is a she. Anyway, we're going to move on with the show, as moving backwards is much more difficult, unless of course you're watching this on the replay, and then it's much easier for you to do it than for me to do it now. Okay, I've confused myself. Let's move on with the show now. I'm comprehensively confused. That's the word I'm trying to say. I'm comprehensively confused now. Thank you very much, LJ. Let's move on with the show. So yes, get your vote in for Fight Cons, but let's talk to you about Ad Astra. Ad Astra is this week's cinema scope. It is available only in the cinema. That's the only place you can see it legally and above board, at least anyway. Ad Astra, an astronaut goes into space, well, you kind of imagine that, to find his lost father. So Brad Pitt and Tommy Lee Jones are starring in this. This is age rated at 12A and has received a 6.8, a little bit of a middle of the road rating from us. So take that into mind, and we're going to play the trailer for you. So this is also on the same week that we have been talking about Space Oddity coming out this week of 1969, so an anniversary being had there. We also played on Friday. We were talking about the documentary Armstrong that Clint Eastwood directed. So there's many connections to space this week. It is a very space week. Thank you very much for posting that. That's the Vicon vote. Yes, thank you so much. Get your votes in. We'll be pitching another one very shortly. So they'll be fighting for your care and consideration, your love. That's what they want. So here is the trailer anyway. There we are.
What are you thinking about?
I do what I do because of my dad. He was a hero. He gave his life for the pursuit of knowledge.
Control, you getting that over?
It's crazy out there. There's fires everywhere and plane crashes. They're calling it the surge.
Major, we have some highly classified information.
What can you tell us about the Lima project?
Its objective was to search for advanced extraterrestrial life. The ship disappeared approximately 16 years into the mission.
And the commander was?
He was my father, sir.
This might come as quite a shock to you. Your father was experimenting with a highly classified material that could threaten our entire solar system. All life would be destroyed. We're counting on you to find out what's happening out there.
I worry about you. I love you.
Please begin your psychological evaluation. As best you can, please describe your current mental and emotional state.
I'm feeling good, ready to do my job to the best of my abilities. I remain fully committed to the lawful completion of the mission. If necessary, I will destroy the project in its entirety. The Earth put its hopes in him. And now, its fate is on me.
We have a job to do. Are you ready? I'm ready.
So that was Ad Astra. That was this week's cinema release that we wanted to highlight for you. Just the one, just looking for the one each week. That's all it takes. As I'm prepared for Christmas, basically, around Christmas it becomes particularly difficult to find even one movie. So some weeks I'm prepared we may be jumping this feature, but this was a movie starring Brad Pitt and Tommy Lee Jones. It's all about a spaceman, 2 spacemen to be more precise. But if you want to find out more than that, then make your way to the Twitter feed, and also whilst you're over there, you can vote. Have you ever felt like that your vote really doesn't count? I mean, have you voted in, for instance, politics and felt like that wasn't the person I voted for and they got into power? I'm not only speaking to the United States, I'm speaking to anywhere else in the world. Please feel free to make your vote count. It is right on the fence. It is 50-50. It is all to be had. So you can make your vote count. I do reserve my vote. I have a vote that I can cast, so I can tip it over one way or the other. So hopefully I won't have to do so. Make your way to the Twitter feed. That would be wonderful. There has been a link posted in chat by my dearest brother, so thank you so much for doing that. So make your vote count. Feel like your voice has finally been heard. Anyway, we're going to move to some brand new music for you next. This is Baker, Bakar. I'm not entirely sure if I'm pronouncing that correctly. Anyway, he's got brand new music. He is from London. He has a Twitter feed. And he also has his own hashtag that he's been using with Bad Kid. So here is brand new music from him for you, and there is a slight connection to the movie we've just seen, as it looks like Brad is going to hell and back to find his father. Well, that's the name of this song, Hell and Back, but not Helen back. Just thought I'd have to point that out. So this is Hell and Back, but without the A and the D. It's Helen Back. I'm going to post the link to it on the Twitter feed in just a moment. Feel free to like, retweet. I'm sure it would be most appreciated by the artists behind today's music as well as my good self. Here is Helen Back, brand new music.
Tell where my head was at when you found me. Me and you went to hell and back just to find peace. Man, I thought I had everything, I was lonely. Now you're my everything, I was lonely. I missed a lot of love with a lot of drugs, then I found you. She liked petty crime, she had green eyes like Mountain Dew. And where she go, I'll never know, her friends bounce to. I guess it's their loss, but they'll never know what we'll amount to. And would you be my light, be my yellow? PYT walking down Portobello, put a smile on his face. At the end of the day, MDMA helped us fly away. Who'd have known you would save my life? Who'd have known you would fly my kite? Could you tell, could you tell? Could you tell? Could you tell where my head was at when you found me? Me and you went to hell and back just to find peace. Man, I thought I had everything, I was lonely. Now you're my everything, I was lonely. Yeah, 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 yeah. I remember I was all alone. Late night you would call my phone just to check if I was blessed, cause you knew I was low. Head gone rolling off the throne. I remember we was in the park. Late night made love on the grass, got my head in the clouds counting all my stars. In my ear said the world was ours. Went to hell and back just to heal my wounds, cause it gets like that. Wrong side of the moon, no Tutankhamun, you're my Cleopatra. No side thing, don't need a backer. Need a real one, don't need an actor. A lost one's fate, think you want a BAFTA. Come and be my girl. Yeah. Could you tell where my head was at when you found me? Me and you went to hell and back just to find peace. Man, I thought I had everything, I was lonely. Now you're my everything, I was lonely. Yeah, yeah,
So we slow things down for the end of the first hour, but that will be the news and the weather to be had at the top of the hour. It may not be bang on time, as I usually ramble a little bit, and I'm not under the same constraints and rules that I used to be under when I used to strictly be on the radio. So, yes, that's where my experience comes from. A lot of radio experience, which is probably why I sound the way I do. So what have I got in store? One more song before we finish off this first hour of the show, and that is from Free. It is Easy on My Soul, as we've taken it very sort of mellow after that track. That was brand new music from Baker. His links to his Twitter feed is available via mine, so if you want to make your way there, give a like, a follow. All of those things will be most appreciated for all concerned, including my good self. Well, if I do say so myself, about being good. Right, this is Easy on My Soul to finish off the first hour. We'll have the news and the weather at the top of the hour, and then we'll be back with more new music. We'll be back with We've Got You Covered, 2 for Friday. There is video nasties to be had. There is plenty of features to be had on a Friday, but don't you worry about doing any of the heavy lifting. It is Friday after all. I'll be doing all of that. Easy on My I'm not entirely sure whether I told you that that was the artist behind the last song. I have a feeling I didn't put his picture up at all. This is Baker, who I was just talking about a moment ago with his Hell and Back, brand new music. Sorry. I remember just in time, I think. Or at least I'm going to claim it.
Some say life is, some say what is life, some say it's life, really all around me, but I say easy, easy on my soul, easy, easy on my soul, easy. Easy on my soul, yeah. Some say love is, some say what is love, some say is love, really all around.
alternative news for Friday the 20th of September. News that there may be a remake of the classic film The Princess Bride has infuriated its many thousands of fans. People have reacted angrily to the idea and the gifs have been flying. The dread pirate Roberts himself said from his home in Patagonia that there are a shortage of perfect movies in this world. It would be a pity to damage this one. He should know since he was one of the stars of the film. We hope the studios listen to the fans. The weather will be mainly umbrella-free for a while, but the rain will return to many parts before I've even finished reading this. We suggest you stay in for a little while and listen to the cracking tunes on LJTV.
You're listening to The Bridge, here on LJTV, bridging the gap between the working week and the wonders of the weekend. Thank you.
Yes. You get your clothes on. I'll buy you an ice cream.
Yes, you scream, I scream, we all scream for ice cream, but if you're going to scream, you're not going to have any ice cream. Right? We want people to be nice and calm, otherwise there'll be no ice cream for anybody. Anyway. So what's going on? We've got into the second hour of today's show, and thank you very much for joining me here on LJTV. Bless your cotton socks for staying with me. If it's your first time here, then there's some features you've already missed, but then what has kept you is what I was just about to say, and I stopped myself from saying it. But you know what? Why not? What has kept you? Thank you very much for joining us all the same. We've got Rock Lobster as our first song of this second hour from the B-52s. So we'll be getting straight into that very shortly. We'll then also be moving back to the charts of yesteryear. There is brand new music to be had off the back of that. And then there is We've Got You Covered, which is a cover song, or it's original, whichever is more famous, or obscure. Depends. I like to change the rules for that particular one each and every week. So you'll have to. I like to keep you guessing as well as myself, but you'll have to stay tuned to find out more about that. We've also got Two for Friday and a Video Nasty. It's a MTV. I nearly said a CinemaScope. It's a MTV classic. It's an MTV classic. So that's basically what is behind Video Nasty. Mainly because I like the words Video Nasty. That's the reason why I call it that. It's all it takes. All it takes. That's where we started with the titles of the show. I liked the titles of the show. We stuck with the titles of the show. But that was way back when we were exclusively on the radio. Let's not harp on the past. Let's move confidently into the future. Up next, Rock Lobster.
We were at a party. The earlobe fell in the D. Someone reached in and grabbed it. What a rock lobster! Everybody had matching towels. Somebody went under a dock, and there they saw a rock.
unmistakable Rock Lobster from the B-52s. They're also unmistakable too, I think. They're B-52 unmistakable. So that was Rock Lobster, an absolute classic from them. It goes on for another 2 minutes 40 seconds I've got here on the counter. But we've got to return to the charts of yesteryear next. Then we'll be going from that into brand new music.
Down!
Let's talk to you again. So yes, we're going to be moving to We've Got You Covered. We've already covered the album in focus on today's show, so we won't be returning to that for this week. But if you want to watch the shows back, there was Wednesday's show where we introduced you to Talking Heads 77, the debut album from the band, the four-piece band, from New York. Well, from America and bits and bobs as well. There's more to be said there as well. So I'm going to leave it alone and we'll just move on with the show. So up next, we move back to the charts of, when was it? It was this very week of many moons ago. And as many as this week of 1979. 1979 saw squeeze themselves into the charts. All puns are intended. They squeezed themselves into the charts at number 32 with Slap and Tickle. So here is some Slap and Tickle for you. You see? You can't say I didn't look after you. Taking care of you good and proper.
She was fishing like a Bible when she met her boyfriend Michael. He took her in and set for the sideline, salt and pepper. Looking out across the city from love asleep, it's pretty. The lights they flicker, flutter, they told her how to love her. Next night he called for her, but that protected daughter, and told him she was poorly. Her life was told her surely. So Michael felt rejected. This wasn't quite expected. He drove up to his local, where he felt antisocial. She cried all night and missing the boy she could be kissing. While he was falling over, he drunk himself back sober. Then went home in a taxi and crashed out in the backseat. He slept just like a baby, which he hadn't done just lately. He saw her in the morning, out with his sister Polly. She felt all shy and sloppy. He acted cool and cocky. He said tonight at Charlie's, there's gonna be a party. I'll meet you at our 7. She visualized the heaven. Change your mind, what you do from time to time. Come and you go with a little slap and tickle. You have to throw the stone to get the food to the ball. That night they danced together and looked like love forever. He put his hand on her leg, you should have heard what she said. He tried again much later and seemed to aggravate her. He drove home in silence, avoiding more violence. She said, let's watch the city, from lovers leap it's pretty. I think I need some fresh air. She put a gun through her hair. They watched, she turned to kiss him. I'm very nearly missed him. I put her hand on his head. She felt her tongue in his head. Change your mind, what you do from time to time. Go with a little slap and tickle. You have to throw the stone to get the fool to revolve.
it down whilst I talk over it. It doesn't seem right. This is such an excellent song all the same. I'm trying to keep an eye on my levels there. Hopefully I'm not being drowned out too much. But we've just been listening to something that was brand new until I just caught my phone. But we've tweeted out the next song anyway. We just did that at the same time by catching my phone. That's why it was sitting there on my leg. It's not quite quiet enough. Turn that down. Another bit. There we go. So, yes, we were just listening to Slap and Tickle. It's just ending. It's from Squeeze. They were brand new into this week's chart of 1979, and the most famous member from the Squeeze would be Jules Holland. Just thought I'd point that out. I'm not entirely sure if he was on that album, but he certainly was with the band at one point. Anyway, let's move on with the show. Something brand new. If you're on the Twitter feed already, you will already know that it is... I'm going to say this incorrectly. It is Skeeter Kinney. Skeeter Kinney. They are an old band. I say an old band. They are a well-established band. They are originally from Portland. They were most active in the mid to late 90s. And they are now back. They have decided to team up with St. Vincent, who is an artist from California. I'm trying to go by memory, but that isn't always the best way to go. I do have a picture that might hopefully help your memory along. Here is the artist behind the next song. The next song is called Love. It is not a cover of a Nat King Cole classic, but it is Love all the same. Here, have a listen and see what you think.
Raised outside the city, came up in the void, needed something sacred, wanted to destroy. Heard you in my headphones, slipped you my address, called the doctor, dig me out of this mess. Tuned it down to C's, turned the answer to N, a basement of our own, a mission to begin. You and me, strings and a melody, it took a little while, but now I see it's... Sleeping in the van, but things are looking better. We're only down a grand. Been to every state, from New York to insane. If I turn up any louder, I won't know my own name. What? We can be young, and we can be old, as long as we have each other to hold. And we can be rough, and we can be smooth. There's nothing to hide and nothing to prove. Done with being told that this should be the end, but fighting is the fuel and anger is a friend. There's nothing more frightening and nothing more obscene than a well-worn body demanding to be seen. Fuck!
So let me just say that was Skeeter, I'm going to get it wrong again, Skeeter Kinney. Skeeter Kinney. They are from the mid to late 90s. They have had a bit of a hiatus, but they are now back with Love. That was the brand new song from them. If you want to find out more about that band, then there is a link to their official Twitter feed via mine. So if you're on the Twitter sphere, then do make your way to @LJAY_TV. That is @LJAY_TV. I said it slower the second time, just so you didn't go, what did he just say? So anyway, that was brand new music. It's not the last of the brand new music we've got in store. It's just the most recent one. We've got one more brand new song still left for your enjoyment. Let's turn that picture off and move on with the show. So up next, I should have had the next song planned, but we're going to be talking to you about yesterday's chip paper. So I should have had yesterday's chip paper music already loaded up. So here it is. There we go. Play. So I've got another news story that would have been big, important news to worry about if it was still current events, but it isn't. It is yesterday's chip paper. It is what used to be wrapped around chips, but those chips are also long gone too. So here are yesterday's stories. We were talking about the first ever Glastonbury. Well, that was celebrating its 49th anniversary this week. So this week also, the HMS Beagle reaches the Galapagos Islands with Charles Darwin aboard. This was September of 1835, celebrating its anniversary this week of 184 years ago. So very old chip paper indeed, but an important news story all the same. So 184, sorry, dyslexia there getting me. 184 years ago, the HMS Beagle reaches the Galapagos Islands with Charles Darwin aboard. That is the next installment. That was the next installment of yesterday's chip paper. We'll have more coming up later on. It's what I'm struggling to say, but we'll get there all the same. So as I say, yesterday's newspapers will make another return on today's show, but we've also got a video nasty to share with you, a classic from MTV from yesteryear. We'll be sharing that with you in its video glory as well, so stay tuned for that. And there is Week That We Covered coming up on the half hour. We've got some retro adverts still to come. They are randomly selected this week, so I'm not entirely sure what is going to be covered this week, but they have been randomly selected. And also Two for Friday, that's another thing I neglect to mention, but we won't neglect to get around to. Do get your votes in for Fight Cons. That the winner of this week's Fight Cons will be announced in the third and final segment of today's show, after 8. LJ after 8, the final part of today's show. So, here is Orange Juice with Bridge.
Catch me should I fall. That's if you can't love me at all. 'Cause you could make or break me subject to the way you feel upon this night. I best be careful as you might. Boy, can you bite? And I learned every bridge that spans the water just for you. Now I'll never reach the other side. Oh, what am I to do? Who else? For my lawyer, he's threatening to sue. Well, ain't that a lesson for us all? But when I'm none too keen to learn, besides this bridge is still to burn. For you may say I'm yet to find my voice.
Thank you, you very generous, lovely people, for joining me in today's stream, as well as sharing your sparks. Thank you so much. We're currently listening to Orange Juice. It's their song Bridge, which, do you see the connection to today's show? Well, it's also called The Bridge. But I wanted to point out, this was the band that Edwyn Collins used to be a member of before he went solo. Also, before his accident.
What am I to do? Who else? Phone to my lawyer, he's threatening to sue.
welcome to Work and Lurk. Everybody is very welcome to Work and Lurk. Anybody who's in today's stream who hasn't hit that follow button, let's see if we can get some action on that button. That would be most appreciated. But if not, there's of course the host. So we've got the spare host there as well available for those who have already followed. So the followers don't feel left out. There's something for both of us. You're listening to The Bridge. It's episode 21. They fly by quickly, don't they? But I did try in the past not to number them. So I've got out of that habit. We're just going to keep them numbered from now on. So episode 21 here on LJTV, and bless your cotton socks for joining me. What have we got in store next? Well, we've got Haircut 100 is the artist behind our next song. Then we shall be moving to We've Got You Covered, which is a cover version this week, and we'll be telling you about its cover version as well as its original, and we'll be enjoying the cover version this week. So yes, thank you very much. It's a perfect show to be working and lurking to. Thank you. I do appreciate that. The songs are particularly selected for the show, but you can ask for requests. I do entertain requests, but I do not entertain demands. Anyway, on with the show. Up next is my favourite shirt, and unfortunately, it isn't this one. Talking straight away, that's quick. I like that. I normally try to leave most of the song playing before I interrupt, but you've got me talking straight away. I love it. No, that would mean that I would have to agree with you that I was awesome in the first place. I think I'm still aspiring to be awesome. Hopefully one day I'll achieve it, even if it's just for 15 minutes. Fine. 10 minutes. 2 minutes. Either way, I need something to aspire to. I'm not big-headed enough. There was going to be so many points to be had on today's stream. Winner, winner, chicken dinner.
Mix it with warnings. This Polaroid instant camera actually has a computer inside. It works out the exposure. You don't need a light meter.
You don't have to measure distance, focusing's done for you. And you don't worry about light. The built-in flash gives you just the right amount. That's it, just press the button, then see it developing in front of your eyes, just like this. Bright colors, razor-sharp image. Polaroid, programmed for perfect pictures.
You're listening to The Bridge, here on LJTV, bridging the gap between the working week and the wonders of the weekend. Thank you.
Okay, so we've got you covered. I just need to get my notes. So we'll enjoy a little bit more of this music whilst I grab my notes. Let's get into it. This week's We've Got You Covered. It still sounds too loud in my headset. I don't know why that is. Oh, it's because I've hit that button. There we are. Didn't take much for me to be confused, but let me tell you about this week's We've Got You Covered. Originally from 1979, it was an original song from Sister Sledge. It is taken from their album We Are Family from the same year. It is originally written and produced by Nile Rodgers and Bernard Edwards of the group Chic. So basically it's a Sister Sledge and a Chic song, if you will. It's not their version we're going to be listening to. We are going to be listening to the Fools version of Lost in Music. Have you ever heard the cover version of Lost in Music from The Fall? Well, you're about to. Here is Lost in Music, a cover version. I told you. We've got you covered.
Inutile de regarder en arrière, perdu dans la musique, Crétin va te faire foutre.
Les monnaies, il sur la table. Il money, il sur la table. Sur the palace of access leads to the palace of access. Les monnaies, sur la table. Les monnaies, sur la table. I'm lost in music. Feel so alive. Sur la table. I'm lost in music. Caught in a trap. No looking back. Let my head inside. Break out with the club. I promise in the highway. I heard a voice say, "How access leads to road of access." I lost the music. Caught in a trap. And there's no looking back. I lost the music. I lost the music. I feel so alive. I quit with my 10 to 5. I lost the music. And I lost the music. I lost the music. caught in a trap. You lost the music. I lost the music. Caught in a trap. And there's no looking back. I lost the music.
Maintenant sur la table, pris au piège, inutile de regarder en arrière, perdu dans la musique, crétin va te faire foutre.
So that was We've Got You Covered for this week. That was the Falls version from 1995, their version of Lost in Music, which was originally a Sister Sledge, originally recorded by Sister Sledge, but originally penned by Nile Rodgers and Bernard Edwards. No, yeah, it's Bernard Edwards. Yeah, I always think his first name should be his last name. Don't know why. Don't know why at all. But that was a cover song and not the original. And maybe next week it will be the original and not the cover. You'll have to tune in next week to find out more about it at that point, as I can't see that far ahead and I haven't decided what I'm going to do. So thank you very much for joining us, Baked. Most appreciated for see your name in today's chat. And is it a bit of a wake-up call from M there? I see that's going on. Good, I'm glad. Wake up! Wake up! Like it was Toe Jam and Earl. So what have we got in store next? We're going to move to Thomas Dolby for our next song, but we do have some more features still in store. So that is 2 for Friday, and we've got a video nasty for you. It may sound nasty, it may sound nastier than it is, just by its title, but the music isn't nasty and neither are the visuals, but then I'll leave you to be the judge of that. It's a MTV classic to look forward to. We've still got one more brand new song to be sharing with you, and you never know, we may even make another trip back to the charts of yesteryear. You're listening to The Bridge here on LJ TV, and thank you very much for doing so. Here is She Blinded Me with Science. starting to reach that age where they're walking and talking and answering back. They will long for the days where just seeing their feet made them laugh. And when I say they will long, I mean the parents in particular. So many happy returns to all of the birthdays that are being celebrated by everyone in chat for this week and for this year. You know what? Let's cover the entire year. I might as well. I brought the subject up, although you brought the subject up first. Thank you very much for joining me, you wonderful, wonderful people. We're listening to Thomas Dolby at the moment, or the remains of Thomas Dolby's song "She Blinded Me with Science." His father was a science professor. An interesting fact to share with you. But we move towards Two for Friday, and then we've got some brand new music as well. So these next two songs are going to be back to back and without interruption from me. Well, that is what I used to say on the radio. They will be interrupted by me now, as I do talk over the music. This was something that was sacred. I never used to do this on a radio show. So I will be talking over the next two songs, but there is a logical link to be had between them. So can you spot the link between this Clash song and the next one that's going to follow it? It may be in the title or it may be slightly more obscure. But here we start off with the Clash. Two for Friday.
Tell me something I don't understand. You said you love, that's a lie. And then you left me, you said you felt trapped. Well, some things you can't explain away. The heartaches in me till this day. Stand by me, not at all. Stand by me, no way. All the times we were close, I remember these things the most. I see all my dreams come tumbling down. I can't be happy without you around. So alone I keep the wolves at bay. And there's only one thing I can say. You didn't stand by me, not at all. You didn't stand by me, no way. You must explain why this must be. Did you lie when you spoke to me? Said stand by me, no not at all. Now I got a job, but it don't pay. I need new clothes, I need someone to stay. But without all of these things I can do, without your love, I won't make it through. But you don't understand my point of view. I suppose there's nothing I can do. You didn't stand by me, no, not at all. You didn't stand by me, no way. You didn't stand by me, not at all. You didn't stand by me, no way. You must explain why this must be. Did you lie? You spoke to me.
That's why that fader is not changing. That is a sad story. I do hope that they come and visit you instead, maybe. Fingers crossed. But what have we got in store? Well, we're currently listening to Two for Friday. Wow, I can't even say it. Get through it fine each and every week, and now suddenly I can't say it anymore. We're currently listening to the feature that you find on a Friday, which is Two for Friday. This is Train in Vain from The Clash, and how is it connected with our next song? See if you can spot the link. Up next, we're listening to Wolf Mother. And then we'll have some more brand new music for you, the last of the brand new music on today's show. But there is a third segment of the show at the end where we still have some more people to get around to. Some more news stories as well for you.
Why did you see a girl on the love train? I said, why did you see a girl on the love train? I said, I gotta get that girl on the love train. Oh. I said, I gotta get that girl on the love train. I saw different faces and different places. I gotta get that girl on the love train. Oh. I saw different places. I gotta get back down on the love train. No. What did you say, girl, on the love train? Said different lockets with no name. Telling me all things are the same. I said I gotta get back, girl, on the love train. I saw different faces and different places. I gotta get back, girl, on the love train. Oh.
Yes, I think you're probably right there. Everything does seem to connect on the bridge. Every bridge connects to something. But these ones are intertwined via their titles. Do you know the name of this Wolf Mother song? And we've heard Train in Vain from The Clash. Should be fairly obvious by now. That was it. It is connected via trains, as this is Love Train, so a train on the tracks, and then you've got Train in Vain from The Clash, so they train in vain. So they're different types of trains, but you know what, they still work. It still works as a link for this week's Super Friday. We've got another feature coming up next. Let's move on to some brand new music for you next. And we'll have another link between two songs for you next week. I do sometimes make them very difficult to find. Sometimes they're via the engineer or the producer who worked on both albums, or maybe even bumped into each other. Each producer bumped into each other on their way passing in the same studio sometimes. But you know what? It's been a long time since I got around to one of those really difficult ones, considering I occupy my time more fully this time around. Anyway, we will have more Super Friday for next week. So new music. After that, we'll have some more news stories for you. So I just need to find out the information about this band. Although, to be honest with you, I can remember it. This is the Murder Capital. They are from Dublin. We've played some of their brand new music on the show before. We shall do so again right now. If you would like to hear more about this band, then find your way to the Twitter feed, where via @LJAY_TV you will find a link to their Twitter feed. That's where I'll be posting it in just a moment. Here is More Is Less, the last of the brand new music on today's show.
If I gave you what you wanted, you'd never be full. As the trappings of your boyish mind become unshakable. If I gave you what you wanted, you'd never be full. All the trappings of your romance lie within the eyes of fools, and I love it. More, more, more! More, more, more! More is less, more is less, more, more. If I put my life in my back pocket, you'd know soon that the alternating atmosphere was far outside that room. If I put my life in my back pocket, you'd know well that I kept all your belongings for the sweetness of their smell, and I love it. More, more, more! More, more, more! More is less, more is less, more, more, more! More, more, more! More, more, more! More is less, more is less, more, more! Why do you look that way? That's what you said to me. I'm an anomaly. Still in the park that day, I sat alone in waves, and I just gave you more and more and more and more.
Heating up in the chat, getting saucy. Things getting saucy in the chat. We've just been listening to The Murder Capital. They are from Dublin, from Ireland, and they have brand new music. No doubt there is an album that you can find out more about, but I am usually very vague on the details, as I would like to encourage you to find out more about that band. I have tweeted out a link to their official Twitter feed, and I'll be posting on Instagram at the end of the show. So you can catch up via there as well. Any likes, shares, and follows are most appreciated on the channel via the social medias as well. So any way you would like to get involved is most appreciated. That's the headline on that story. So, getting back to the news stories. And then after that, we've got the Stranglers keyed up for our next song. I wanted to point out that I'm sorry that you're struggling with Dead Cells. We were playing Dead Cells on the stream yesterday. It's an excellent game. If you haven't played it and you have the Game Pass, it's available on the Game Pass, the Xbox Game Pass. So we talk about the news stories as they are yesterday's chip paper. They were big news stories in their day, but they are not anymore. So we don't have to worry about them in that way as we once had to, I suppose. So we spoke about the first Glastonbury, and we also spoke about the HMS Beagle reaching the Galapagos Islands. So let's go a little bit more up to date than the Galapagos Islands. 60 years ago, the first successful photocopier was demonstrated live on television. Yes, it was demonstrated 60 years ago this week, live on television in America by Exxon. I couldn't even say it for a second there. By Exxon. So that was celebrating its 60th anniversary. September of 1959 would have seen the very first live television successful demonstration of a photocopier. There we are. Interesting facts, I'm sure you'll agree. Or maybe my music was a little bit too loud. Maybe you didn't quite hear it. The music does look a little bit too loud there. I was saying the very first photocopier was demonstrated on TV. Let's move on with the show. I'll get a grip of myself. Quite literally. Up next we've got the song Get a Grip on Yourself from the Stranglers.
Round to buy a Murray Thal. Been around and seen a lot to shake me anyhow. Begged and borrowed, sometimes I admit I even stole. The worst crime that I ever did was playing rock and roll. But the money's not good. Just get a grip on yourself. But the money's no good. Just get a grip on yourself. Suffering convictions on a two-way stretch inside. The air in here is pretty thick, I think I'll go outside. Committed for insanity and crimes against the soul. The worst crime that I ever did was play some rock and roll. But the money's no good. Just get a grip on yourself. But the money's no good. Just get a grip on yourself. And you should know.
any puppet. It was a naked puppet. It was a naughty, naked, nudie puppet. We're listening to Get a Grip on Yourself from The Stranglers. We've got one more song for the end of this, for a second hour of today's show. But there is a third segment to be had. Yes, it's too tempting to start miming along to the lyrics. I'm not going to. I promised myself I'm not going to. So yes, we've got one more song to finish off this hour. Then we'll still have some more features to be had in the third and final segment of the show. Always a little bit unplanned, but always scheduled to be LJ after 8. I'll continue to be LJ after the show as well. To be honest with you, I've had so much practice, it's second nature now. Sounds like you're making it up. Sorry, I had to. Every pun intended. You should know that by now if you've been enjoying today's stream. At any point, you should have known it. Usually quite quickly do I get around to a pun. Thanks so much for stopping by. It's most appreciated. We've got one more song finishing off this hour of the show, and that will be Lost Weekend. That will be our last song for this second hour of the show. But yes, be safe in the shower and get ready carefully, not with haste. So, we'll be back in the third and final part of the show, but we'll have the news and the weather at the top of the hour. We've still got some features, a video nasty to share with you, and another news story. But we'll recap some of those just in case my bed was too quiet. I'm paranoid about it now, but when we started the whole miming thing. So yes, we were talking about the first Glastonbury, which is celebrating an anniversary this week. Also, we were talking about HMS Beagle reaching the Galapagos Island with Charles Darwin aboard in 1835, celebrating its anniversary this week, where we also mentioned just a moment ago that the first successful photocopier was demonstrated live on television this week back in 1959. So I'm just pointing that out. I think it's hilarious because 1959 and then 10 years later they would live on TV land on the moon. Such a difference only 10 years can make. 99. I'll try to. Promise. Please do. So we finish off with just the way you are.
It took a lost weekend in a hotel in Amsterdam, and double pneumonia in a single room, and the sickest joke was the price of medicine. Now you're laughing at me now, may I please laugh along with you? This morning I woke up really deep, a quiet sleep, with ashtray clothes and this lonely heart, and with which I wrote for you a love song and tattoo upon the palm to stone it from me when Jesus took my hand. You see, I wouldn't say it if I didn't mean it. Drop the out on the peak, it says so easily. I was AKB with a head full of attitude, wore my heart in my sleeve like a stain, and my aim was to fool you. Could we meet in the marketplace? Did I ever hate, please? Did you wound my knees? You see, I wouldn't say that I didn't mean it. Drop an apple for a piece. took a last weekend in a hotel in Amsterdam. 24 gone years to conclude in tears. At the sickest joke was the price of the medicine. Are you laughing at me now? May I please laugh along?
September. News that there may be a remake of the classic film The Princess Bride has infuriated its many thousands of fans. People have reacted angrily to the idea and the gifs have been flying. The dread pirate Roberts himself said from his home in Patagonia that there are a shortage of perfect movies in this world. It would be a pity to damage this one. He should know since he was one of the stars of the film. We hope the studios listen to the fans. The weather will be mainly umbrella-free for a while, but the rain will return to many parts before I've even finished reading this. We suggest you stay in for a little while and listen to the cracking tunes on
You're listening to The Bridge, here on LJTV, bridging the gap between the working week and the wonders of the weekend. Thank you.
There we go, we get the volume turned down. So that is Steely Dan playing with the instrumental at the beginning of each of the hours so far. This is Each Street Lewis Toodaloo. Anyway, it's an instrumental music, it works perfectly. It's on Pretzel Logic, I think. Just information to pass on to you. We've got plenty more coming in today's show. This is the third and final part of the show. It is LJ After 8. It may last all the way up until 9 o'clock, maybe even past 9 o'clock. But we don't know until that happens, as it's sort of an unplanned, it's always scheduled, but an unplanned part of the show. There we go. That's the way I've been trying to remember to refer to it. We do have some features in this part of the show. There is Ask Me Anything, so feel free to ask me anything, and I will feel free to try and answer it. I will always try to answer things, no matter what the question is, honestly, but I will maybe lie to you. Take the chance. See what happens. We'll only find out together. So, there is Ask Me Anything. There is a Video Nasty. We've got a Video Nasty to return to. I've got another news story to tell you all about, so that would finish off yesterday's chip paper, so we can then post that online and then you can share it to all of your friends if you wish to do so. We also have some other things and stuff that I'm trying my best to remember. We've got through all of the brand new music on today's show. We've already heard from the album In Focus, but there is something else I'm forgetting to mention. Oh yes, that would be the fight cons. So at this point of the show, we should get used to announcing fight cons. So fight cons was last week between paperback and hardback, and I announced, sadly, I did hold off on my vote, and probably stupidly, but I should have voted myself, but I didn't. It is 50-50, so who knows which is best between paperback and hardback. We'll have to revisit this one again in the future at some point. No doubt we can get that more heated of a debate happening without having to burn any books. So we won't get that far, don't worry. Let's move to the new one. It is 50-50. It has not been decided, but we do have a brand new fight con to announce. So let's get the picture and let's get started on that one. It should be here. This is the new part that I'm going to have to get used to as well, trying to load up the magazine or comic book cover for the fight cons. So this week battling for your love and for supremacy over one another. We are looking at cakes and biscuits. So, which one is best, biscuits or cakes? Which one do you take? Do you take the biscuit or do you take the cake? You can decide. This is going to be available in just a few moments on the Twitter feed. Please feel free to get over there and cast your votes. There is a little bit of an extra credit to be had, only a warm feeling inside if you're the very first person to vote on it. But I'll be posting that in just a few moments. So yes, which one do you prefer, cake or biscuits? And before we get into the debate of whether a Jaffa cake is a cake or a biscuit, it is totally a cake. It is 100% cake because it's got it in its title. You know, when they say, what is this coffee made out of, they know it's got coffee in it, at the very least. So, if it's got cake written in the title, then it's definitely a cake. So, cake or biscuit, you decide. Feel free to argue in GIF, not in the chat actually, because there is no GIFs in the stream. I switched them off. But feel free to do that on the Twitter feed and get involved in trying to sway people to your side of the argument. But please do cast your vote. We do not want a 50-50 for this time next week. But I need to load up my next song, and it was meant to be this song. Yes, as I say, this time next week, it was meant to be moving straight into the Kinks with This Time Tomorrow. There we go. No song from the charts of yesteryear for our second song for our first song yet, but it may be the second one. That's where it's going to be. I'll confuse myself ever so slightly here. We'll just enjoy the Kinks, and I'll get back with it.
This time tomorrow, where will we be? On a spaceship somewhere, sailing across an empty sea. This time tomorrow, what will we know? Will we still be here, watching an in-flight movie show? I'll leave the sun behind me, and I'll watch the clouds as they sadly pass me by. 7 miles below me, I can see the world, and it ain't so big at all. This time tomorrow, what will we see? Fields full of houses, endless rows of crowded streets. I don't know where I'm going, I don't want to see. I feel the world below me, looking leave the sun behind me, and I watch the clouds as they sadly pass me by. In perpetual motion, and the world below doesn't matter much to me. Well, this time tomorrow, where will we be? On a spaceship somewhere, sailing across an empty sea.
I'll get used to that at some point. That was the Kinks with This Time Tomorrow. We move back to the charts of yesteryear for the second song of the third hour of the show. I suppose it's the third hour-ish. Thank you very much for all of your sparks and all of your involvement and attention on today's stream. That's the word I'm looking for. Struggling to find, but I found it in the end. Ruffling around in the drawer. I'm stuttering on my words. I'm going to try and calm down and get back with it. So, Fight Cons is available for this week. It is cake or biscuit. Which is your favourite? Which would you like to vote on? You can do it as a silent ballot, or you can cast your voice loud and high from the heavens if you wish. But do get involved. Do get involved. Cast your vote for cake or biscuit. Which one do you take, the cake or the biscuit? We've got a song from yesteryear, and that will be from Supergrass. As Supergrass were brand new into this week's chart of 1999, in at number 9 with Moving. So that's our very next song. You may find this a little bit moving.
Till I don't know what to say. I've been moving so long, the days all feel the same.
You got 99 problems, bro. 99, oh lord.
Well, I don't know why to stay. No ties to bind me, no reasons to got a love feeling around me, and the stone cold feeling inside, and I just can't stop messing my mind up or wasting my time. There's a love feeling around me, and the stone cold feeling inside. I've got to find somebody to help me. I keep you in mind, so I'll keep moving, just keep moving. Well, I don't know who I am.
So yes, that is back in 1999. It was brand new into the charts at number 9 for Supergrass. We are going to move on to many different features of the show. We have a video nasty for you, which comes from Kiss. So we'll be playing that in just a moment. It was a MTV classic, so you'll get to watch all of its visuals in all of its glory in just a moment. There is other things on today's show, like Fight Kongs will be running for the next week. So this time next week we'll be announcing the winner between biscuits or cakes, or at least that's our intentions. As we did have the same intentions between paperback and hardback, but you know, best laid plans of mice and men and all that jazz. Let's get back to Moving from Supergrass and 1999.
Got a love feeling around me, and the stone cold feeling inside, and I just can't stop messing my mind up or wasting my time. There's a love feeling around me, and the stone cold feeling inside. I've got to find somebody to help me. I keep you in mind.
Supergrass, Moving. So we're going to move as they suggested it, so we shall follow suit. We have already had the brand new music on today's show. If you want to find out any more information about these artists, like Michael and the rest, then feel free to do so. These are their pictures. We were talking about The Murder Capital, their brand new song, and all of these other brand new songs from the brand new artists. There is a tweet available for them, so you can find a direct link to them. That's the main reason for doing the show. It's about sharing music. Music gets better just by sharing it with each other. That's my opinion. And is an opinion that I will not be swayed from. We're going to move to a song that was used for the beginning of for a program. It was used for the theme of a program, but it's by Kasabian. It's another song used for the opening of a Russell Howard program. So here is Lil Ray, I think is the way. Anyway, The King in brackets.
Wow, you're telling me about this. I'll tell you about that. Start talking shit, you walk into another trap. And all the time you know my name. You know my name. You know my name. Just settle down, you're losing the plot. It took you a lifetime to get where you got. If I had it all, I'd be dead in a week. If I had my way, be king for a day. Wow, what you bank on me? Well, what you bank on me? I'm sorry, oh, I'm sorry.
I get you. I won't be swayed. No, they weren't swayed either. They were Supergrass. You're spot on.
I don't have the time to listen to this. Don't know by now that the point you have missed. Look what you got. It's love that it's not. Don't care what they say. You can't for a day. You can't for a day. We got the night. We got the world. Into the future. I give you all. With your eyes into the light. Into the light. Oh. You smell a hotel soap. Try to tell your joke. Over and over. Just blowing smoke. Industry standards, time after time. The higher the mountain, the higher I climb. What is the point in trying to pretend? In single fire with you till the end. Look what you got, it's love that it's not. Don't care what they say, be king for a day, be king for a day. Take off your focus and blow your away. We got the night, we got the world. Into the future, I give you all. Open your eyes, into the light, into the light, into the light.
Right now, it's too naughty for night radio.
Free from love, free from love, free from you, I want such a goal. Free from pain, free from being, free to live, I am rising. I'm rising up, I'm rising up, I'm rising up, I'm rising up. You're telling me about this, I'll tell you about that. Start talking shit, you want me to run on the track. And all the time you go, you know my name, you know my name, you know my name. Be king for a day, be king for a day. We got a night, we got a world. Into the future, I give you all. Open your eyes, into the light, into the light. King for a day.
So that is The King in brackets, but it's also Lil Ray. That was Sabian here on The Bridge, episode 21, hosted by me, LJ. And thank you very much for joining me. As you'll make up the other part of the show. You may make it a success from your end, even if I am still stumbling on my words ever so slightly. Up next, we've got some blancmange, so I certainly hope you're hungry and you didn't fill yourself with the main course. We've got some blancmange for you, for afters. But we've also got a vintage ad break to have following blancmange. and then we'll be getting to another video nasty for you. This week it is from Kiss, so stay tuned. That will be coming up very shortly. Here is Living on the Ceiling. I told you, Le Monde. Blancmange known as Pink Panther pudding. That sounds really strange. But I certainly hope they didn't put in the Pink Panther, because that sounds horrific. And I'm sure Inspector Clouseau would have something to say about it, as he's always on the tail of the Pink Panther. So what have we got in store? Well, I've got an ad break to press play on in just a moment, but following that we'll have some video nasties for you, so stay tuned for that. If you don't know what I mean, then you will do after this ad break. That's coming up after the month.
Do you think it's all right to leave George there on his own? Oh, yeah. But aren't you afraid he might find your chocolate orange? No, I think it's quite safe.
Terry's famous chocolate orange. Smooth milk chocolate with real oil of orange. How safe is yours?
Happiness is a cigar called Hamlet, the mild cigar.
It's a great advert, isn't it? It's one of my favourites as well. That was Rabsy Nesbitt. Do you remember that programme as well? He also used to work on Naked Video. That was another programme, which brings us towards the perfect segment in towards the video nasties for us. So, video nasties for this, yes, Naked Video as well. He worked in Naked Video. That was another comedy sketch programme. But that was, I think, just before or around the times when that was all kicking off for him. Anyway, let's move to what we've got up next. So this is a video nasty for you, although I should let you be the judge of that. It is just the title. You'll know the song, or maybe you won't. Actually, I can't guarantee that. It is it is a Kiss classic. So we're going to move to a Kiss classic with footage, Rock and Roll All Night.
Kiss's doorbell. A doorbell.
Oh, yeah. So let's rock and roll all night and party every day. You show us everything you've got. You keep on dancing like the room gets hot. You drive us wild, we'll drive you crazy. And you say you wanna go for a spin. The party's just begun, we'll let you in. And you drive us wild, we'll drive you crazy. You keep on shouting, you keep on shouting. Come on! Wanna rock and roll all night and party every day. Wanna rock and roll all night and party every day. Wanna rock and roll all night and party every day. Wanna rock and roll all night and party every day. Keep on saying you've been mine for a while. You're looking fancy and I like your style. You drive us wild, you'll drive me crazy. And you show us everything you've got. Baby, baby, that's quite a lot. And you drive us wild, we'll drive me crazy. You keep on shouting, you keep on shouting. I can't hear you. Wanna rock and roll all night and party every day. Wanna rock and roll all night and party every day. Wanna rock and roll all night and party every day.
Okay, that was an unplanned finish there. Not quite the way we were intending to finish the video nasty. But we get there in the end. Sorry, I've messed with my headset ever so slightly, so it just messed with my head. I messed with it, so it messed with me. You're watching and enjoying, I certainly hope so, episode 21 of The Bridge here on LJTV. I am the aforementioned LJ, and thank you very much for joining me. You make it all worthwhile. Bless your cotton socks. So feel free to hit the follow if you're enjoying today's content, and also if you've already hit the button follow, feel free to hit the button host. Both are most appreciated. So we've just heard Rock and Roll All Night from Kiss, and that was our video nasty for this week. There is one video each and every week, and that was from Kiss this week. So I've got one more song left on today's set list, and then we're probably going to be calling it an end. But stay tuned, there may be a slightly different thing going on today's stream. So we may be hosting straight at the end of this song, or there may be something else. There may be something more for you. But before we get through any of that, don't worry, I haven't forgotten. There is still one more news story to tell you all about. So let me get that out of my face there. We're okay there. We've got our last song is going to be from the Doobie Brothers, and that is already keyed up. But I was not ready for my news facts to tell you about. So, yesterday's chip paper, we have been talking about all show long. We've been talking about the anniversaries for this week. We started off with pointing out that it was the 49th anniversary this week for Glastonbury, the festival Glastonbury, held in somewhere. Glastonbury, probably. Anyway, we also mentioned that the HMS Beagle reached the Galapagos Islands with Charles Darwin aboard. That was September of 1835. We were talking about that. I also pointed out that the very first photocopier was demonstrated, or the very first demonstration of a photocopier, successful demonstration of a photocopier live on TV happened 60 years ago. And then there was the final anniversary I would like to point out for this week's yesterday's chip paper. Writer Agatha Christie was born September of 1890, so 129 years ago, and her stories still go strong. Her influence is still rippling through the ages and will no doubt continue to do so. So that is all of the features on today's show. We've spoken to you about the album in focus. We've shared all of the brand new music that I had on my set list to share. We looked back at the charts of yesteryear. These are the features that you can find on a regular Friday show. We Had You Covered, which was a cover song that I was telling you about its history. That was Lost in Music, the Sister Sledge original. But we didn't hear the original. We heard the Falls version that they recorded in 1995. We also had other bits and bobs, and also, of course, yes, there is Fight Cons is available. It is still should be available in the chat there. You can click the link and make your way directly to the Twitter feed to vote on Fight Cons. Which do you prefer, cake or biscuits? Do you take the cake or do you take the biscuit, aka cookie? Not like biscuits and gravy. Just thought I'd point that out in case it may confuse. And I don't want to confuse anybody. Not nobody, no how. So we finish off the show with a song entitled Nobody. And stay tuned for just a little while. I'll tell you more after we've heard this song. I may be calling it a night. I may not be. Stay tuned. I'm going to keep you in suspense for just a little while longer. Cake! That's a biscuit though. That's a biscuit that you put on the screen. You're confusing me.
Man of business, and your mother merely portioned out your bride. You wanna run the risk of a sudden loss? You got no mama to beg your cost beside you. The midnight angels shine wings, and time begins just to build a wall all around you. Nobody gonna take my love away from me. Nobody gonna out my pressure. Place where you and I can sit and talk. So I can see the sky at night without a fear of a hidden light to blind me. So you see, a path is here, changes will be swayed around me. Oh, baby, nobody gonna take my love away from me. Oh, baby, nobody gonna take my love away from me. Nobody gonna take my love away from me, yeah. Nobody, nobody gonna take my love away from me.
Okay, I am still here. I've been trying to do a little something. So it may have caused my stream to really slow down, so I'm not entirely sure. It hasn't quite worked yet, so I think I might hit play on another song and see if we can get it working. And this time I'm going to choose a nice long song. It's going to be Grand Funk Railroad, and they're not afraid of playing a 10-minute song. Well, this song is 1 second shy of 10 minutes, but we should hopefully have it up and running, fingers crossed, in just a moment, so I'll be able to tell you more shortly. But let's enjoy I Am Your Captain, Closer to the Edge, I think it is. Anyway, it's a double song, basically. I'm back in a moment. Bear with me.
Everybody, listen to me and return me my ship. I'm your captain. I'm your captain. Though I'm
Alright, let's take that down to a nice talking level. We will talk and walk together. So what I was trying to do, I wanted to try and test my system to see if there's a possibility of going off the back of a web show straight into a game show. So that's the way I differentiate between the two types of shows that I do on my stream. I do shows that are dedicated to gaming and shows that are dedicated to music. So there are web shows and game shows to be had. But I thought I wanted to try this to see whether the system could handle it, basically. We are pushing 40% CPU usage, for those of you out there who understand what I mean by CPU usage. So we'll keep our fingers crossed, and we're going to take our first look at FIFA 20. So I thought that would be a nice treat for the end of the show. Let's see how that goes. Fingers crossed. FIFA 20. Let's give it a bash. Yes, we're playing the free trial because we have a 10-hour free trial. If you're a Vault or an EA Access member and member of the Vault, then you may also have you do have your access available. They just dropped it yesterday, I think, or this morning or something like that. So let's see what the game's all about. I've got a lot of anticipation that this is going to be the FIFA that we've been waiting for quite some time. Let's give it a bash, see what it's about. It looks like things are running smoothly. Mixer Love, thank you very much, most appreciated. There is a pro tip to be had for anyone who's playing the free trials of FIFA, or any free trials via the EA Access. Make sure you quit out of the game fully, otherwise you will lose your free trial. It runs in the background. If you don't quit the game, it will consider that you're still playing it. We've got no game sound. Let's try and get that sorted. We want to hear all of its enjoyment, but maybe this is going to be me pushing the computer too far. Certainly hope not. We haven't changed the title of the stream. We're just going to jump straight into it and have a bit of a shufti at FIFA 20, now available via trial. Maybe if you've got your pre-order already, you probably also have an access to the trial. But this is the part that particularly makes me interested. It's the FIFA Street that looks like it's returning back to the game. So this is the part I want to have a look at. You should be able to do 5v5 type of games. Yes, exactly. We'll consider about. You mean about the time limit and the trial? Yeah. Okay, come on. Reload this game sound. No doubt there's interesting things to be heard. We'll try and reset it again. We're straight into a 3v3. Let's see what goes on here. And maybe we'll have the sound kick in whilst the game's playing. I'm not going to be playing for very long. I just wanted to desperately share some of this with you. So the ground pass, I'm going to pass it up there. No, keep us out. I've tried to save that. I did try to save that, honestly, I did. Let's give it a bash. Oh, that was a tackle. Nasty. It was good though. There we go. We got the ball back without him scoring this time. Well played. No! Shoot! Shoot! It's saying I've got problems with the chat. So yeah, I am pushing the computer a bit. There we go. The problem there was that I'm used to FIFA. I'm used to changing the buttons out on FIFA. Wild shot. Okay, it's 2-all. It's 2-all. It's all to play for. It's all to play for. This isn't too bad actually. I like this. How's it hanging, bruv? Yeah, not too bad actually. We're currently playing FIFA 20. It's the brand new one, obviously, with the title, you might have guessed. No, shoot! That was meant to be a shoot. There we go. Yes, FIFA 20, and it's not bad actually. It's going to be the game that has more versatility to it, I think. Yeah, it looks good. It is quite interesting. I tried to jump directly from a web show over to a game. The computer's asking a bit much for it at the moment, but it's worth trying. Went fancy, went fancy. I went big, but I've got to go home. There we go. It is good. It's not bad. It's unfortunate that I can't get the game sound to work, and also the music is now stopped. So that might be a good thing to turn on. Some other music. Let's put on that. First to 4. Okay, good. I did not know that. Did not know that. I think you've culled your warlock. Would that be a nice, polite way of saying that you've taken him out to pasture? Pasture? Rest in peace, Warlock. Yeah, I'm not surprised really, to be honest with you. It was your least favourite character. Well, he's certainly resting anyway. I'm going to try and reset these game sounds. Hopefully we'll get that back. If you joined me today for today's stream, thank you so much. Bless your cotton socks. But don't be afraid to hit that follow button and come back and join us again on purpose once more. Okay, so I use the alternative settings. I want to choose my alternative. Yeah, that's right. Spurs will do. Chose Spurs as a team because you know what? I don't really care. And I know that my brother used to support Spurs. I've no idea what team he supports now. And I also haven't said which brother. It was your first Guardian. Oh, that's the worst. You got rid of your first character. Alright, let's try this out. Voltar. This is the thing we're interested in. This is the thing I'm most interested in about this game. Alright, what, we're just choosing a player? A random player? What, not make a character? Okay, I'm not impressed by that so far. That dude will do. Okay, cool. It's just the base character. Alright, in that case, we're jumping out. I'm going to jump out, we're going to lose all of that saves. Maybe jump into one more game and then we'll call it. Blasphemy. There was a game on Wednesday's show called Blasphemy, actually. Let's just go for a friendly. Just a friendly. Not an online friendly, just a friendly. Keep it simple. Keep it simple, stupid. Yeah, you see when it keeps popping up with that, your chat is ready to display, that's when it's obviously having issues. New ways to click on. Okay, great. Sure. Wonderful. I'm happy. I'm chuffed. Let's just start again. Last game before the end of the stream. That's what I'm thinking. Classic match. Okay. Okay. Classic match is fine. We'll play against Arsenal. That's fine to me. No, I've got to choose some more music. That's about to finish. We'll have some more Supergrass. There we are. Sorry, we're done now. Here again, yes, back to the FIFA again. But this is FIFA 20. This is the brand new one. So I'm just trying out the new controls, seeing if it's more responsive. This is the one that I've been interested in. I was really a big fan of FIFA Street when that... I was meant to hit play on that. When that came around the first time. It seems like they're making a return to those kind of games. But thank you very much for joining us once again. No. Oh, that was a dirty foul. Dirty foul. I think I'm going to get called for that as soon as the ball goes out. One of the things I do want them to have changed is the bad calls from the referee, actually. That's good. Yes. No, no, no. So yeah, we did a web show today, which is why it still says game and web shows and chat and all those types of titles. Ah, hit the guy, the defender. So this was a bit of an unplanned stop for FIFA 20, but it's working, so I'm not complaining. That's right, go over, go over. No! How could you lose the ball there? It was all yours. You stupid fool. Ah, that's going out. I'm going to get a yellow card. Told you. Clairvoyance. Or whatever his name is. Run for it, it's all yours. You've got to earn your stripes back after that yellow card, you arsehole. I thought that was going to be my first goal. Alright, we're all in for the corner. All in, all in. Right, everyone but the keeper. I've played this game before. Oh, it was on target at least. That was a good start. Moving in the right direction. We have to foul the keeper. There we go. Perfect ball. Look at that. Perfect pump. No! Went past, sailing past the left post. Okay, we're looking a little bit choppy. I think it's because I'm asking too much from the computer. And let's put on some Cold War Kids, that would be fine. Yeah, we're working the set list at the same time. Although I didn't play. Oh, I thought it was a goal. Oh, see, look, all of my viewer figures have disappeared as well. Yeah, everything's taking a little bit of a blow here. We're going to finish up this game and wrap up today's stream, but thank you so much if you're currently thinking about leaving because we're having too many technical issues. Thank you so much for joining me.
I show you mine, now show me yours. Are you down to get serious? Your wild life, coast to coast. Make it last and let's take it slow. I can't stand waiting around to dance. When will you stop? Look at the one you got. You say you want to change this world. Well, do you really believe in magic? But you can only
I got a ball. I got all of that. It was all ball.
don't sit around and complain about it.
Right, fair enough. Let's see the foul there.
They got the nicest things.
Let's see this foul that you speak of, you lying bastards. Maybe it was.
Suspense, slipping right through my hands. When they stop, wondering what they thought. I show you mine, now show me yours. Are you down to get spiritual? Try it high, but I'm confused. You weren't always tripping and
He hasn't got the legs for it.
all of your friends, they got the nicest things. I just don't expect them to pick up the check. You say you want to change this world.
We get there. Rest in peace, Spartan. Thank you. I had the technical issues here. Oh, we got the view figures back, though. That's a start. Step in the right direction. I was pushing it. The whole idea was trying to get the web stream to run a game. It's not set up for it.
Don't sit around and complain about it.
Ooh. He needs an extra one. That's why I said he's not got enough legs for it. Or did I say he's not got the legs for it?
You say you want to change this world. Well, you must really believe in magic. Stand up and show them who you are. Don't sit around and complain about it.
I'm pushing the wrong buttons. Normally I'd have them set the other way around for Pro Evo. Well, that's the best way to describe it. The Pro Evo buttons was the ones I prefer.
Don't sit around and complain about it.
I tried to get him to hurry up. It's going to be the last. Well, it's going to half time anyway. But this is the last action on today's stream anyway. That's a foul. That's a goal. Don't mind if we do. Play some new music whilst we enjoy the You know what? As a matter of fact, I said new music. Why don't we play the new music again? Which one did I particularly enjoy? That was the Michael track. Let's play that one. Nutted that in just before a half time. See if we can go for the win.
Makes you leave it, I'm all living to take time. I don't care.
Music has just gone haywire. No, my pad has just gone a little bit nuts there. I do apologise for that. No music. And we've got no game sound as well, so it may be best to just call this one before the next half starts, although I did want to finish the game. I'm trying to reset the game sound in the hope that that will make things better. Visuals are a bit iffy now. It's just an experiment. Exactly, it's just an experiment. Yeah. We're going to call it. We're going to say thank you so much for joining us. Let's not ruin the show so much that we forget how well it went. Everything has been excellent so far, so thank you so much for joining me for another successful The Bridge. That is episode 21, that was. So, let's jump over to this other side. Let's quit out on that and try and hopefully make things a little bit smoother for us. Okay. Yes, so things might smooth out a little bit better on today's stream now that I've switched that off. And I'm going to quit out of the game properly to make sure I don't lose my trial. Again, reminded people of the pro tip I was saying earlier on. Yes, please don't forget to vote in fight cons. That's why I've left it on the screen to remind myself, but I already forgotten. Thank you so much for joining me for today's show. If you wish to join me again, I'll be back on Sunday for Sunday Shenanigans between the hours of 7 and 11. So it's an evening show. If that doesn't suit you, but you'd like to catch me again, then Monday would be my next portal call after that between the hours of 4 and 8. At the same time slot on Thursday. But before we get to Thursday, there's the Wednesday show, which is another web show between the hours of 6 and 9. It's slightly extended in what it sounds like because it runs from 6 and finishes somewhere in the hour of 8. But I say till 9 anyway, just in case we run like today past the hour of 9. We're going to try and host someone, so I'm going to have a quick look see who's available. A friend of the stream. You wonderful people are friends of the stream too, but you're here, so I know you're not streaming, although maybe some of you are. So we're going to look on our follow list, and hopefully we'll find someone to take over the reins, someone to pass over to. So bear with me just a second whilst I point out who to expect. I'm not going to play a song to say goodbye. We're going to just look for someone to host. I don't need to watch my own stream, thank you. So we've got Fortnite, Horizon 4, Astroneer with RSMG Gaming. Nearly got that incorrect. I always miss out that last G at the end there. Modern Warfare, I think that might be the new one. Only If. Only If sounds interesting. What is that about? And Grand Theft Auto, Fortnite, I think the place to go, we are going to go, I don't know. I suddenly just lost all my confidence, which is not a good place to be. We are going, any suggestions? I think we'll go for Only If, because that sounds interesting. I can't see a picture on it. We're going to find out more about this. I'm going to pass over to that stream that you can already hear. It's a bit loud. Well, my phone was a bit loud. So we're going to pass over to VTech. I think it is. I'm probably mispronouncing names so I'm going to stop there. I know I'm very tired, and now would be a good time to finish. So stay ready. Stay tuned to the stream, and you will catch our host. Whatever your plan is, take care of yourselves, ladies and gentlemen. Until we meet next time, do be lucky.